Here's what to know before you see Toy Story 5. This is the newest movie in the series that began all the way back in 1995 with the original Toy Story, which made history as the first film ever to be completely computer animated. It was also the first full-length movie from Pixar Animation Studios. Most of us can probably remember what it felt like when we were a kid and we formed an emotional bond with our favorite toy. Our imagination and creativity brought them to life. And Toy Story simply asks the question, what if they actually were alive?
Okay, everybody, coast is clear.
Hey, Ham, look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.
But the problem is these toys are facing an existential crisis. Andy is about to have his birthday party. A toy's whole purpose in life is to have a kid that loves them and plays with them. So what would happen if Andy doesn't want to play with them anymore because he gets a better toy?
There's a nice little one over there.
The only toy that isn't worried is Sheriff Woody. He tries to promise the other toys that Andy won't replace any of them, but it's easy for him to say, because he's Andy's favorite toy. Everybody knows Woody is safe, or so they thought. Buzz is the newest and coolest toy any kid could want, and it doesn't take long for Woody to realize he is getting replaced. Buzz is clearly Andy's new favorite toy. And what's even more annoying for Woody is that Buzz doesn't even realize he's a toy. He's still fully convinced that he actually is a space ranger like his packaging says, which eventually results in Buzz mistaking a claw machine for a rocket ship. They both get taken by Sid. Sid is Andy's neighbor, and he's a mean kid who, instead of loving his toys, destroys them for fun. In Sid's house, Buzz sees a TV commercial about himself and finally realizes he's a toy. This leads to a complete mental breakdown at the worst possible moment.
You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit.
The difference finally comes when Woody and Buzz have a heart-to-heart. Woody explains why he was so jealous of Buzz, and it's because being there for Andy is the most rewarding thing for a toy to do. It's then that Buzz realizes he still has a purpose even if he's not a real space ranger. Unfortunately, Sid straps Buzz to a firework, so Woody has to go to extreme measures.
So play nice.
And Woody and Buzz end up using the firework to get back to the moving truck. They have now built a friendship based on understanding, and all the toys are happy knowing that Andy has enough love for all of them. Toy Story went on to become one of the highest grossing movies of the year, but it didn't just launch a new franchise. It launched a new powerhouse animation studio that would go on to make over $17 billion at the box office, which is why it's really odd to know that Disney initially planned for Toy Story 2 to be a direct-to-video sequel. And what clearly becomes a running theme for the entire Toy Story series, the toys yet again face another existential crisis. While Andy is playing with Woody and Buzz, Woody's arm rips. Woody is put on the shelf to collect dust, just like Wheezy, a squeaky toy whose squeaker was broken. When Wheezy is taken to be sold in a yard sale, Woody tries to save him but ends up getting stolen by this guy. Al owns a toy store but is also a toy collector and knows that Woody has a lot of value as a vintage toy. When Woody gets back to Al's apartment, he finds out that he's actually part of a set that includes Jessie, Bullseye, and the prospector Stinky Pete.
The prodigal son has returned.
Jessie and the others are thrilled because they've had to live for years in storage just waiting for Woody to come along and complete their set. Now they'll be sold to a museum in Japan where at least they'll be displayed and appreciated. But Woody can't go with them because he's Andy's toy. His purpose in life is to be there for Andy, and these other toys just don't understand that. Until we find out Jessie used to have a kid too, a girl named Emily. Emily eventually grew to be a teenager and was no longer interested in Jessie and donated her. Once Woody recognizes that this will eventually happen to him, he decides to stay with this new gang. But meanwhile, Buzz and the other toys have been on a rescue mission to save Woody. When they arrive, Woody realizes he wants to be with Andy for as long as possible, even if it's not forever. He even says that Jessie and the others can come along, but the prospector sabotages the whole thing because he's never been a toy that any kid wants, and he thinks the museum is his only chance. Buzz and the others end up having to follow Al all the way to the airport to rescue Woody, Jessie, and Bullseye. The prospector ends up finding the home he always wanted, even if he doesn't know it yet. And the others return home to be Andy's toys, having learned that even if they can't last forever, the time they have with Andy and each other brings enough joy and meaning that it's worth it despite knowing it will come to an end. Which brings us to Toy Story 3, which released 11 years later in 2010. The existential crisis this time around is exactly what the toys feared in the last movie. Andy has outgrown them. In fact, he's about to go off to college and hardly plays with them at all anymore. So his mom asks him if he wants to put the toys in the attic or donate them to Sunnyside Daycare. But he uses a trash bag and accidentally leaves them out, so his mom thinks they're trash. The only toy Andy keeps is Woody, who he's going to take to college as a keepsake. But Woody can't let the other toys be thrown away, so he goes to save them. Except they don't need saving. They escape the trash and are putting themselves in the donation box so they can go and be played with by the kids at the daycare.
Andy's moving on, Woody. It's time we did the same.
And once they get to the daycare, it seems perfect. The other toys are super nice and they get played with every single day. Their leader is a big teddy bear named Lotso who claims that Sunnyside is a paradise for toys.
Just you wait. You'll find being donated was the best thing that ever happened to you.
So Buzz and the others stay while Woody tries to make it back to Andy. It's then revealed that Lotso is forcing the new toys to be in the Caterpillar room, which is for younger kids who don't know how to play with toys yet. When Buzz tries to fix the situation, he finds out that Lotso is actually more like a dictator that rules through fear and forces toys to do what he wants. We eventually learn that he used to have a kid that lost him. He took a long journey to find his way home only to see that he had been replaced by another Lotso. So he formed the belief that kids don't actually love their toys and took over the daycare so he could look after himself. Meanwhile, before Woody can make it home, he's taken home by Bonnie, a kid who loves her toys a lot like Andy. Woody learns the truth about Sunnyside from Bonnie's toys and sets out to rescue his friends. They launch a complicated escape, but at the last minute, they and Lotso all end up being taken away by a garbage truck. Because Woody and his friends believe in no toy left behind, they actually save Lotso despite all he's done to them. But he doesn't return the favor and deliberately leaves them behind to get destroyed by the incinerator. The toys have no escape and they all accept that this is the end until... The toys manage to escape and return home before Andy leaves for college. Andy takes all his toys and makes one final stop. Turns out he's stopping at Bonnie's because he wants his toys to go to a good home. But he's shocked when Woody has somehow found his way into this box instead of the box he's taking to college. We know this is because Woody has also made the decision that as much as he has loved Andy all these years, Andy is ready to move on, so he has to let go.
You think you can take care of him for me? Okay then.
And so they part ways. Woody and the other toys embrace their new life as Bonnie's toys.
So long, partner.
Which brings us to Toy Story 4, released in 2019. Woody has had a hard time adjusting to being one of Bonnie's toys. He's no longer the leader. In fact, Bonnie often doesn't even play with him, leaving him in the closet. This is a really difficult thing for Woody to face, that Bonnie doesn't need him as much as Andy did. So he overcompensates. When he hears that Bonnie is scared to go to kindergarten, he sneaks into her backpack. In class, he notices that Bonnie is sad and alone, so he puts a bunch of supplies on her desk and she creates her new favorite toy, Forky.
We all have to make sure nothing happens to him.
Something happened to him.
The problem is Forky doesn't believe he's a toy. As a spork, he believes he's trash and constantly tries to throw himself away. Woody won't ever let him because he believes Forky is what Bonnie needs right now. Forky manages to jump out of the RV while Bonnie's family is on a road trip, so Woody also jumps out to bring him back. On their journey, Woody is able to teach Forky what it means to be a toy and that they need to get back to Bonnie. But they get sidetracked when Woody spots something in an antique store. He finds the lamp that Bo Peep used to be attached to years ago before Andy's sister Molly donated Bo. He tries to find Bo in the store, but instead he runs into Gabby.
You have a voice box like me.
I'm Gabby, and I love you.
Wow, you need to fix that.
Gabby has a broken voice box and believes if she can steal Woody's, she'll be a working toy again, and a kid will want to take her home. Forky is held captive by Gabby's henchmen, the ventriloquist dummies, but Woody manages to escape the antique shop and runs into Bo. Bo has been living as an independent or lost toy for years. She's embraced her life and freedom without a kid and has enjoyed it.
How long have you been out on your own?
7 fantastic years.
7?
Woody and Bo don't see eye to eye on that, but she still tries to help him save Forky. When this doesn't work and several toys are nearly destroyed by the antique shop's cat, Bo forces Woody to confront the real question. Is he doing this for Forky? Is he doing this for Bonnie? Or is he doing it for himself to feel needed?
Nobody wants this.
I do.
Why?
Because.
Why?
Just because.
Why?
Because it's all I have left to do.
Woody still refuses to leave Forky behind, but he makes a selfless decision and voluntarily gives up his voice box in a trade with Gabby so that he can have Forky. The sad truth is that even with a voice box, Gabby is still rejected. So Woody again sticks to his morals of no toy left behind. He and the other toys bring Gabby with them so she can join Bonnie's toys, but instead, Gabby sees a lost child in need at the carnival and becomes her toy instead. It's then that Woody has to make a choice. Does he return to be one of Bonnie's toys, or should he embrace the idea that that part of his life has passed and he can go and find happiness with Bo? In the end, it's his good friend Buzz who helps him to make that decision.
She'll be okay. Bonnie will be okay.
So Toy Story 4 acts as a kind of epilogue where we see a true end for Woody's journey as he finally moves on from being Andy's toy.
Does this mean Woody's a lost toy?
He's not lost. Not anymore.
So we've watched Woody and his friends face several difficult aspects of life. The fear that there's somebody bigger and better than you that people will love more. The fear of getting older and all the challenges that come with that. The fear that the things that give you purpose in life may fade with time. And the fear that there may come a time when you have to move on and find a new purpose. But with each of these moments, the toys have pushed through and found happiness on the other side, partially through accepting what they can and can't change, but even more so by recognizing they don't have to go through those experiences alone because they have each other. So how do we think the storytellers at Pixar will continue that story? What new lesson will the toys, and by extension us, have to learn about this new threat of technology?
Hi there, I'm Lilypad. Let's play.
Ah, extinction!
Let me know your thoughts and if you're excited to see Toy Story 5.